Okay, so now we're going to go through some examples, keeping in mind we need to focus on what we're looking for. Here's my hint. Write down the equation. Okay, so the other thing is to make sure you understand what they're asking for, right? So this one says the area of a semicircle. So the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. If we want a semicircle, that means half of it, right? So remember what I've been doing is I've been dividing that by 2. So I have my formula. What do I need to find the area? I need the radius. Okay, well, what's the radius? Well, the radius is the distance from the center to the outside. This 14 here is the diameter. That's the distance along the whole thing. Because if you notice, I drew it in, but there was no dot there, okay? So the relationship between diameter and radius, remember, is the radius is half the diameter. So our radius is going to be 7, okay? You don't have to necessarily write it out, but think of it. If the whole thing is 14, what's half of it? It's 7. Once you get there, it's literally just a matter of plugging things in. Pi times 7 squared, and then dividing by 2. Okay? Well, 7 to the second power is 7 times 7 is 49. And that works out to be 49 times pi divided by 2. I'm writing out all the steps here. You don't have to write all these out. If I type 49 times pi into my calculator, and again, if you're having any issues with your calculator, come see me. It works out to be about 153.94 divided by 2. All of that, we basically get to about 77 square centimeters. Okay, and it's not, and I know it says here use pi is equal to 22/7. No, I tend to just use my pi key or 3.14 on my calculator. Okay, it doesn't say word around here, so make your best judgment. Okay, I should be able to tell. Okay, so now this one says, what is the area of a quarter circle? Write down a formula. Area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. And since it's a quarter circle, I'm breaking it into 4 parts. So I'm going to break it, or I'm going to divide by 4. What do we need? We need the radius. What does it tell us the radius is? 6. So I'm going to go pi times 6 squared divided by 4. Now again, the mistake I see people make is they get here and then they go 6 times 2. If I wanted 6 times 2, I'd write 6 times 2. I don't want 6 times 2. I want 6 to the second power. That means I take 6 times 6, 2 6s. So, you could say 36, that's what 6 times 6 is, times pi. And I know I change the order, but that's just kind of like how we always write the numbers first when we have them. Okay, and we divide it by 4. 36 times pi divided by 4 in a calculator is going to be about 28.3 centimeters. Okay, that's a dot. Okay, square centimeters. Because again, we need about 23.3 1 by 1 squares to cover this up. Okay, write down your formula. Look for what you know. You need radius for area formulas, so if you're given the diameter, divide it by 2. A few more examples. So Marjorie is designing placemats for a dining room. So she sketched a drawing of placemat on graph paper. So we basically have these 2 semicircles at the end, and each grid is 4 inches by length. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Okay, so find the area of the placemat. Well, here's what we have. Okay, if I look right here, I have an area. That's a rectangle, and this looks like it's 3 by 2. So my area of a rectangle, remember, is length times width. Okay, so that would be 3 times 2. I wrote a 6. 3 times 2, this is why I wrote a 6, is 6. Okay, so now here's where we need to be careful, okay? This really isn't 3 times 2. Remember, this is 4 by 4 by 4. So, and this right here is 4 by 4. And I'm sorry, my 4s are not turning out really well, okay? So I need to not really do this, okay? Because I can't just multiply this by 4, because this 3 needs to be multiplied by 4 and this 2 needs to be multiplied by 4. So, sorry about that, but I wanted to point out to you that you really need to pay attention to what's going here, Okay, so my area of a rectangle is still length times width, but this isn't a 3 here. Because each one is 4 inches length, 4 plus 4 plus 4 is actually 12. And 4 plus 4 is actually 8. Okay, so we really need this to go 12 times 8. And that works out to be 96. And they're inches, so square inches. Okay. So now we also need the area of a circle. Okay. Now, a couple different ways you can think of this. This is half a circle, right? So this would be, area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Normally I would, and don't write this down, but normally I divide that by 2. Except how many half circles do I have here? 2. So if I put 2 half circles together, what do I have? I have a full circle. Okay, so this actually is going to stay a full circle. All right, so I'm going to go pi times our radius. Well, we need our radius. Our radius is the distance from the center to the outside. What is that? Messiness right here. It's 4, isn't it? Okay, so our radius is 4. So I'm going to go times 4 squared. 4 times 4 is 16, so this is 16 times pi, which is approximately equal to 50.27 square inches. Okay, so the entire placemat, we're going to take these two things and add them together. So I'm going to take 96 plus 50.27, and that's going to equal approximately 146.27 square inches. Okay. All right, so again, it can seem more complicated than what it is. The more you write down, the less you have to think of or try to keep store in your head. Okay, so if she wants to make 6 of them, how many square inches of fabric will she need? We're going to assume there's no waste, right? Well, basically, we'll take the area of one of them and we'll multiply by 6. Don't overthink it. Okay, and that's going to work out to be 877.62 approximately square inches. Okay. Now, she decides that she needs to sew on a contrasting band of material around the edge. Here's what I want us to focus on, even though if I can't say it. It's around the edge of the placemats. Okay, so how much material would she need? Well, around the edge is circumference. So now I need circumference. And remember, our circumference formula is pi times the diameter, or 2 times the radius. But I know right here that my diameter of my circle is going to be 8. And again, I have 2 half circles. 2 half circles make a full circle. So I'm going to have pi times my diameter. My diameter is 8. Okay? And again, if you type that into a calculator, 8 times pi, it works out to be approximately 25.13 inches, I'd say. But what that does, okay, I'm going to add a new color in here. That gives me the distance from here to here. Let me get rid of all this, okay? Because we're doing the circumference. We only want it around the outside, right? So it gives me the distance from here to here and here to here. What do I need to add on? Well, I need to add on 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Right? So 25.13 is these two. And then I've got to add this distance on. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. And 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. So I need to go plus 12 inches plus 12 inches. And so that works out to be, I'm going to say approximately, because again, we use that pi button there, right? 49.13 inches. Okay? All right. So again, let me move on to some more here. Just for the sake of time, we'll see what we can get through. Okay. The circumference of a circle is 24. Circumference is 24 times pi. What is the exact area? Ooh, well, circumference is pi times the diameter. Area is pi times the radius squared. So if I know the circumference is 24 pi, if I go 24 pi equals pi times the diameter, don't freak out about that pi. It is a number. So I need the radius here. I can find what the diameter is and then find the radius. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Our diameter equals, well, pi divided by pi, 3.14 divided by 3.14 is 1, just 24. So if our diameter is 24, that means our radius is half of that, right? 12. And now we can plug that in here. So my area is going to be pi times 12 to the second power. 12 to the second power means 12 times 12, which is 144 times pi, because it says exact. As soon as it says exact, leave that in there, okay? This would be square centimeters. I'm not going to stress too much, you guys, about labels, okay? I want them there, but put your focus on this stuff. All right, so this one says find the area of a circle with a diameter of 42. Well, if our diameter is 42, that means the radius is half of that. So our radius is going to be 21. Okay? And you'll notice I'm ignoring this here, right? So then I take my formula, area equals pi times the radius squared, and I plug the radius in. So it doesn't come out and say what our radius is, but we can figure it out. And that's what I meant by know what you need. So I'm going to go pi times 21 squared, pi times 21 to the second power. Again, if you need help with your calculator, see me. And that's going to work out to be approximately 1,385.44. Okay. All right. So I know you guys have been like stuck with me through this whole video. Let's do these real quick. If the circumference of a circle, that's a square. If the circumference of a circle is 9 pi, that's the distance around the outside. So my circumference formula is pi times the diameter. The circumference is 9 pi, plug it in. We get 9 pi, oh, this looks like the last one, right? Divide both sides by pi. We get diameter equals 9, okay? So what's the radius? Well, the radius is going to be half of what the diameter is, so I'm going to say 4.5. And then notice how we can find the area. Area of a circle is pi times our radius squared. So if you can use the circumference to find the diameter, take the diameter divided by 2 to get the radius, then all you have to do is type this into a calculator. Pi times 4.5 squared, and you get approximately equal to 63.6 square centimeters. Okay? Again, write down your formulas, look for what you know. See if you can figure out what you know, and remember that relationship by diameter and radius. Okay? And that way you can go back and forth between area and circumference problems.